How the Great Wall was built. Materials and methods. The Great Wall handily required the best human exertion of any old development. 100 million tons of blocks, stone, and soil were shipped and collected by a huge number of fighters, laborers, detainees, and creatures utilizing fundamental rope, wood, and container frameworks on remote landscape running from dry desert to soaked mountain edges. Where the Great Wall was built. Over the Great Wall's a large number of miles. The territory changes from desert to riverside, from mountains to fields. The Great Wall fashioners exploited the territory and worked at vital spots to repulse trespassers most adequately. From the Great Wall relics we can see that the divider is either worked along mountain edges, across mountain passes, or on the other hand across key transportation regions. On level land, watchtowers and guide towers were constructed high for perception and correspondence by signal fire. On the fields and deserts, architects utilized streams also, their bluffs as characteristic obstructions. This controlled key spots, yet in addition spared work and materials. Incredible wall building materials. Stone, soil, sand, block. The majority of the re-established Great Wall segments we see today were worked with blocks and cut stone squares sections. Where blocks and squares weren't accessible, packed earth, whole stones, wood, and even reeds were utilized as nearby materials. Wood was utilized for fortifications and as a helper material. Where nearby timber wasn't sufficient, they had it conveyed in stone. Great Wall sections and mountain zones, laborers quarried stone to manufacture the Great Wall. Utilizing the mountains themselves as footings, the external layer of the Great Wall was worked with stone squares and blocks, and loaded up with whole stone and whatever else accessible like earth and dead laborers. Soil. Great Wall sections on the fields. Great Wall laborers utilized neighborhood soil, sand, loess, and so on, and smashed it into smaller layers. Jiayugun's Great Wall segment in West China was predominantly worked with dusty loess soil, the most erodible soil on Earth. Unfortunately, areas 2,000 years of age despite everything remain for the most part unblemished. Sand doesn't stay together, so how could a divider be worked with sand? Sand was utilized as a fill material among reed and willow layers. West China around Dunhang is desert. Inventive manufacturers there utilized reeds and willow acquired from streams and desert gardens to fabricate a solid divider. Jade Gate Pass, Yamengguan Great Wall Fort was worked with 20 centimeters layers of sand and reed, an amazing 9 meters high. The Ming Dynasty Great Wall was for the most part worked with blocks. To manufacture a solid divider with blocks, they utilized lime mortar. Laborers manufactured block and concrete industrial facilities with nearby materials close to the divider. The Great Wall over the ages utilized around 100 million tons of stone, blocks, and mud. As indicated by history and legend, there were 3 different ways to get the materials up the mountains and over the fields conveyed by hand. The standard way laborers conveyed the vast majority of the stones and blocks up the mountains on their shoulders or backs. Bamboo crates were utilized for soil, freestone, and lime mortar. Human chains were likewise used to pass the squares and crates up. Arranging on thin mountain ways was more proficient than walking to and fro. Crew technology. Wheelbarrows and ropes on mountains with level enough ways, one-wheel wheelbarrows were utilized. Bushel and pulley frameworks were utilized over profound valleys, and materials were additionally pulled to the highest point of the Great Wall on ropes. Creature used without a doubt. Truth and dubious legend. Without a doubt ponies, bulls and trucks were utilized in the complement regions for shipping materials, and camels were utilized in the deserts for significant distances. There is a dubious legend that when Badiling's Great Wall area was based on the lofty mountains, laborers utilized goats to convey the materials. Goats are eminent for being acceptable at ascending, so it's said individuals tied blocks on goats' horns and made them convey them up the precarious mountains. Extraordinary wall laborers lament during the development of the Great Wall, a large number of individuals passed on. Numerous artists communicated their hatred with sonnets, along the lines of, each block, each stone. Also, every last trace of mud are loaded up with Chinese people's bones and sweat and blood.